7 o'clock.
Welcome to the Board of Trustees meeting for the hearing on the final budget and appropriations ordinance, September 16th, 7 p.m. Meeting is called to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with
Liberty.
Okay, we have a roll call
Allison Pinkett Floyd,
here.
Sue Wiggins,
Here.
Julie Kowalski Smith, here, Ginger Kearney,
Here.
Kristen Aston Walsh,
Here.
Bijal Patel, here, Kelly Sims is absent.
Okay, thank you. So this meeting is for public hearing on the ordinance about our final budget and appropriations. So I have a motion for, do I need a motion, Ann? For A, or do we wait to see if there's any comment? Private?
The town members just want to see what's going on.
Absolutely. Are you interested in making any comments? We're kind of at that.
No, I'm be right.
All right, no worries.
Do we need a motion?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I move for the final budget and appropriations ordinance 2025-2026-005.
A second.
Okay, we're gonna actually have the final vote in the meeting.
Yeah.
So at this point, what this is just to give the public an opportunity to make any comments should they want to. Okay, so it's now on the table, so to speak. And if we have any public presentation, we'll just give it a couple of minutes, and if nobody's here, we end this meeting and start the next. Okay. I mean, so we didn't have anybody right. I don't know,
Even if we did, it wouldn't be
They'll have
eligible
to
for
come
public comment, yeah,
to say, okay,
but we didn't, I mean.
okay. We really do. Give it a minute.
Where's that? I know we're waiting. This way, don't sit right next to each other.
No. Okay, 7:03. Okay, so since there needs to be no public presentation regarding our budget and appropriations ordinance, we will end this meeting and begin the official board meeting. Okay, do we
adjourn the final budget, or hearing on the final budget and appropriation ordinance?
can I have a second?
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, moving on to, welcome to the Helen Plum Library Board of Trustees regular meeting for September 16th, 2025. This meeting is now called to order. We will have acknowledgements since in the previous meeting we did the pledge.
Okay. The Helen Plum Library Board of Trustees unanimously acknowledges that many indigenous groups once lived on the land where the library now resides. The library invites all to learn their histories, cultures, and peoples. The library board encourages our neighbors to explore learning opportunities through local indigenous-based organizations such as Midwest Soaring Foundation.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to add two things, just looking at our collection. These are both books I have read. One is Apple by Eric Gansworth. It's a memoir. And then one is a middle grade younger book for kids, Res Dogs by Joseph Bruhak. I think you say that his name. It's a poetry book. It takes place during the early days of the pandemic, the lockdown, but it has a tie with the main characters on a reservation. And then also Midwest Soaring has their powwow on October 11th and 12th at DuPage County Fairgrounds.
Oh, cool.
So if you want to look more, you get their website for tickets.
Okay, thank you, Julie. So, Jen, can we have a roll call for this meeting?
Allison Pinkett Floyd,
Here.
Sue Wiggins,
Here.
Julie Kowalski Smith, here, Ginger Kearney, here, Kristen Aston Walsh, here, Bijal Patel, here, Kelly Sims is absent.
Okay, thank you, Janet. All right, any public comment? Seeing none, move on. We have a motion for the first action item.
I move to adopt the agenda as stands.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. All right, moving on to the next action item.
I move for approval of the which includes approval of the minutes, board meeting August 19th, 2025, approval of financial reports, check register dated August 31st, 2025, cash and investments report dated August 31st, 2025, revenue and expenditures versus budget report dated August 31st, 2025, and balance sheet previous year comparison as of August 31st, 2025.
A second, Ginger?
Any discussion? Any questions?
I do have one thing, on, it's page 10 of the overall packet. Page 2 of the check register, I'm curious. It's a Wonderful Life, is that for Christmas light?
Yes, it's probably the deposit for that. Yes. Yeah, that's for the seasonal lights to go up ahead of Jingle Bell Jubilee.
Nice, perfect,
Mhm.
okay.
All right,
Any on the ball?
Yeah.
anyone else? Believe me, the Christmas music's about to start playing in all the stores. Get ready. Yeah, okay. All right, all in favor of approval of the consent agenda items as written, stated, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Moving on to committee and foundation reports. Audit committee?
Yes, we don't have a presentation. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, audit. So
Audit.
would be Kelly, but
Yeah.
Kelly's not here. Okay. We'll assume that anybody else
She
knows.
updated that they met on September 4th,
Okay,
and that there will be some things today's meeting that they will, be.
Later on the agenda.
later on the agenda. Okay, thank you for that, Julie. Okay, director relations committee.
There will be a presentation for that.
Okay, policy and bylaws.
We met on September 4th, and there'll be several policies later in the agenda that we'll be looking at.
Thank you. And the foundation update.
Helen Plum Foundation had a wonderful book sale for the books that were donated to the library. And we raised over $600 at that book sale. We had another event at the farmer's market. We raised another $85 there. The event at Alter Brewery has not given a total yet. There is a new fundraising coming up on October 16th at Giamia
Yes.
in Lombard, and I have flyers
Yep,
that
yep.
will pass out.
Thank you.
What's that?
Alter
Brewery?
I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get that information soon. That's everything from the foundation.
Thank you, Ginger. Okay, unfinished business. We had
Sure.
2 items.
There was a question from last meeting regarding the zero value check for Nanny Nikki Music. That was a canceled check. And then the elevator sensor timeline, we're all laughing because otherwise we'd be crying. So the part that was ordered, it had been 6 weeks. Phil reached out, they double checked, they had to cancel the order because it was no longer available through that vendor. So they're looking for alternatives. In the meantime, Phil has asked, can we swap the equipment from the back elevator with the front elevator? And we haven't had a response yet. I'm not sure that it's the same exact equipment, but at least that would make it so it's less annoying at the front.
That's a great idea if it's possible.
Wouldn't that be
I'd like to
great?
say, I rode the elevator up 10 minutes ago and it didn't on the first.
It was
try.
uneventful.
It didn't work that way for me.
It's a 50-50 shot. All right, because I was waiting, I was like, all right, yeah, do your thing, but nope, went straight up. Okay, thank you for that, Anne.
Of course.
All right, moving on to new business. We have several action items, so we have a motion on action item A.
I move for the adoption of final budget and appropriations ordinance 2025-2026 -005.
This is a roll call vote.
A second, Ginger?
All in favor, say
It's.
aye.
no.
Oh, we're already good?
It's a roll call, yeah.
You're right, you're right. I heard it, I actually said it.
Sue Wiggins,
listening to yourself, Allison.
Yes.
Julie Kowalski Smith,
Yes.
Ginger Kearney,
Yes.
Kristen Asmus Walsh,
Yes.
Viva Patel,
Yes.
Allison Pinkett Floyd,
Yes.
and Kelly Sims is absent.
Oh, she's got a little attitude.
Good, okay, motion carries. All right, moving on to the next action item.
I move for approval of the certified estimate of revenues by source.
I second, Ginger.
All
No
in
roll
favor?
call on this one.
Okay, no roll call on this one. So any discussion for we? No?
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, on to action item C.
I move for adoption of resolution 2025-2026-006 to determine estimate of funds needed.
I second.
I did want to just mention that this is an estimate of what we might need. It's not a guarantee that that's what we'll ask for in our levy. We just will not be going over that 5% levy increase. It's not a guarantee that we will meet that, so that's up for a different board decision. Just to clarify, so yes, it's that 5%, without having to go through other hoops. Last year we did the same approach where we said, hey, we might need up to that 5% levy increase, and then we did a flat levy. We may opt to do the same this year. We just have to continue crunching numbers, so
And we vote for the levy in.
either October or November, yeah,
Okay. thank
that's
you.
coming up.
Yeah, this just
Yeah.
prevents us from, if we need it,
Right.
right, we're not prevented from asking for it.
Correct.
Okay, so there's a word for that, and it's just kind of a standard thing, so this is not a roll call, so all in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, moving on to action item D. We have a motion,
I move for the adoption of ordinance 2025-2026-007 to transfer funds from the capital building fund to the debt service fund. And this is a roll call vote.
and a second,
Second.
okay, so Anne, any discussion on this?
This is keeping everything above board. This was money set aside for the construction of the building. We were under budget on this project. So this money will be used for paying off the bond debt as soon as that bond debt is callable in 2029. So it's earmarked for that. It can't be spent for other things. That's where we're moving it there. So just to have integrity.
Perfect, okay, Jen, please.
All right, Sue Wiggins,
Yes.
Julie Kowalski Smith,
Yes.
Ginger Kearney,
Yes.
Kristen Asmus Walsh,
Yes.
Viva Patel,
Yes.
Allison Pinkett Floyd,
Yes.
Kelly Sims is absent.
Okay, moving on to action item E.
I move for adoption of updated policies. These guidelines.
E, sorry, no, F,
E.
that's okay.
Sorry, I move for adoption of ordinance 2025-2026-008 to transfer funds from the special reserve fund to the library fund.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Okay, this is a roll call vote.
Just to clarify, this was an accounting error that we're correcting ahead of the audit. There was an overestimate as to what our surplus was for last year, so we're just correcting that, so we have a nice clean audit and it's not a little ding on our letter. You know.
This was from.
We did the end of year transfer, it's one of our first ordinances of the
Right.
fiscal year. And it was an overestimate by about a little under $300,000. We're moving that money back. We just moved it a little too soon, so.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, it's roll call vote.
Sue Wiggins,
Yes.
Julie Kowalski Smith,
Yes.
Ginger Kearney,
Yes.
Kristen Asmus Walsh,
Yes.
Viva Patel,
Yes.
Allison Pinkett Floyd,
Yes,
and Kelly Sims is absent.
okay. Action item F, we have a motion.
I move for the adoption of policies. Number 1, B7, disposal of surplus library materials. Number 2 is B13, division of responsibility between board and executive director. 3 is C-6, alcohol at library events, to retire the policy. 4 is P-26, anti-bullying, and 5 is U-1, use of facilities and materials.
Okay. Any discussion?
Need a
Second?
I'll second.
Perfect. Stereo?
That was. I don't know.
Okay, Jen, you get to pick. For the notes. Any discussion on the policies?
Are there
Are
any?
you gonna go one by one or do you?
We can go
Let's look at- Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
And
mind.
are we, can we just look at the clean draft, whatever? That was the easiest one to review.
Yeah.
So I did have a question on the division, oh, sorry.
You said
Are there questions
Go with the first one?
Sorry, I'm on 13, sorry, yeah. I'm on the wrong one.
Are there questions on B7?
Yeah,
Disposable,
let's ask about that
disposal
one
of surplus
first.
library materials? This is very much from the law. It's not, it's just making the language a little simpler. There's a bulleted list, but this is what the law is, so this is what we'll do. We can move on to B13 if there aren't other comments or questions.
Okay, looks like we're meeting on the B13.
The division of responsibility between board and executive director.
I just had a question on governance. It just said that, the director attends the committee meetings. Is that required? I mean, this wording is a little ambiguous. It doesn't say may attend. It says attends. It makes it sound like,
I do attend meetings except for the closed session directors.
Right.
Relation
And-
meetings, or,
Your predecessors did as well.
Yeah.
I feel like
Okay,
in our
okay, so
business,
I just
yeah,
wanted to
it's not a new
clarify.
policy.
no, I just wanted to clarify that. Is that,
that's the
Oh,
practice.
okay, that it may,
And so to your point, what if you weren't available and they were gonna, should the meeting be postponed?
No, I think
Or
just as,
rescheduled?
you're not a required attendee. But it's a
I
suggestion.
am not a required attendee.
Okay.
The meeting can still go on without me.
Okay.
Right, it just has to be,
And
a
frankly,
number
the
of
same is
committee
true
members.
of board meetings. I'm not,
right,
I'm certain, I'd like to think I'm helpful at these meetings. But I'm not legally required. It's, yeah.
okay.
I think we're putting the language in there, Vidal, just to make sure that the director is always allowed to be there.
Okay,
Yes. If they want to be there, except for closed sessions, of course. So.
just seems like to me that, okay.
Is there a different wording then?
If it's allowed to, I would put may attend. Because what we're trying to say, this to me, I wasn't sure if this was.
Shall
like a-
sounds like should or must
Whatever,
in some
just to
way.
say that Anne can come if she wants, but she doesn't have to. Is what I think the policy is saying, or
Yeah.
is it that the policy recommends that you come? Then that was my thing.
Yeah.
Recommendation, that
Okay.
the director stays up to date on.
Okay,
Every-
so I didn't know if that's what the policy, I don't know if we wanted
Yeah.
to say the policy should say more something like,
I
But
think
it-
where this may be interesting is as if we start developing more committees, I know we discussed potentially
Right.
a
community,
community
yeah.
engagement committee or a parade committee. And then the assumption is
So
that
when
Anne
you
got
got-
all of those, but you know, it is what it is. But I think as it stands right now, the practice is that yes, I go to almost every committee meeting with the exception of the ones where you talk about me. And I think we can change that language as
Okay.
this grows.
it just to me was confused, like I wasn't sure
Yeah.
what this meant, so that's why I asked.
Okay, so the language will stay as is. If we need to change it in the future, we can, but it's okay. Okay, so we understand what it is.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on policy B13?
Was there any kind of like overall spirit of the changes or just making language more clear?
Generally, it was language, but it was also trying to be more reflective of what we do organizationally and between the board and the director, it's a little more specific than it was previously. We added, that we are required to have a strategic plan, that we have a vision and mission and these sorts of things. So it's just kind of tightening it up a little bit, making it maybe a little more corporate too.
Yeah, if you look at the, I read from the. Sorry, I marked up copy, you can see it's kind of organized differently.
Yeah.
And more what they're doing,
Mhm.
Right.
the previous one didn't have. wasn't under actually.
In fairness, we hadn't had eyes on it and
Right.
in over a year, so it needed
Oh, yeah.
it needed a bit of an overhaul, so.
Right.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
That one, that's that old.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That
because-
just missed by
Yeah.
all the things going on.
Yeah,
Well,
it's been a busy
we're
10
building
years.
a new building is what I remember.
Yeah.
So, okay, so good, it's updated. Perfect. Moving on to C6.
Just curious, why were they trying this policy? Are we no longer serving alcohol? Is that?
Actually, it's a policy that says don't.
There's a conversation about that. Only allowed alcohol at one event, and that was the opening of this building. And we have not used it since then. So the idea is we should retire it until a decision is made that we would have something worth that again to
With
serve
that
alcohol.
discussion,
Yeah.
because right now it's a policy based on a past event. That
So we're saying that.
doesn't apply anymore, like,
And
Where the
alcohol
next
is not allowed in the library by patrons as a norm. So we wanna take out this policy for now. And you wanna add more, cause.
No, you summed it up. I think it's really, are we using this right now? No. Is there the potential to use it in the future? Perhaps. It is a heavy liability. So in my mind, anytime we do this, we have to jump through a lot of hoops in order to achieve it. And the question is, does it make more sense to go to a venue that already has a liquor license to do a book discussion in partnership with the local business versus bringing the alcohol here, getting the special licensing, making sure people are limited in what they consume? So really for me, it's the liability factor, it's the balance of patron rules and program event activities. But the fact is it's already drafted, so if in 2 years we're like, you know what? We've made a mistake here, we can revisit and do that, but if it's not something we're actively using, I'd rather get it off the books.
So does retire mean that it's like inactive,
Yes.
this policy,
Just-
that it can still be there, and if we need.
It's just, yeah,
To reactivate it?
Exactly, we would bring it to a policy and committee meeting, we would cross-check to make sure the legal standing is still accurate, and then we would go forward with it.
Does it, I mean, I'm not gonna like,
No, ask the
I
question.
don't feel too strongly about it, but. Why not just have them though? Like if people are looking like, oh, I wanna have an event at the library, why isn't there a policy about that?
This wouldn't cover that. This only covers library events. So this would be staff generated programs where we would invite people in to have, I think we did, when we partnered with the opening with Noon Whistle and Afterthought Brewing. So it was a special event. We had our logo, like we had partnerships on beers, and it was really fun, and it was a special one-time thing. And for us, it's like we haven't had any sort of interest. There hasn't been any request for additional events like this. And I'm like, if we're telling people, no, you can't have alcohol at the library, or asking people to leave for being intoxicated at the library, it feels a little bit of a double standard in my mind. So it is something that some folks like to offer at other libraries, but I'm like, this isn't something we've really pursued or had much interest in. I would rather us really think carefully going forward and say, hey, we know we're gonna have this series of events, we wanna do this, let's get the policy back on the books, let's check in with the lawyer, let's make sure we're keeping everything above board. Cause this would be, right back to a policy committee meeting after a review from an attorney, so.
Okay,
It seems like an extra hoop to jump through, but I'm just like, not once this has come up in program planning to be like, boy, I wish we could have beer at this book talk or whatever it is, like it's,
I
felt like
this book without.
it just seems weird to me, I'm not a policy expert at all.
yeah.
It seems weird to me not to have a policy just because it hasn't, because you don't wanna deal with it. To me, it seems like that's why you have a policy.
Yeah.
So that it guides anything that comes up, like, oh, well,
Well, except
You know
if
what I
with this policy in particular, we wouldn't be able to have any alcohol at any events. It would just be no, the answer is no, and then it's, okay, if we consider, we have to consider the policy again.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that decision, because it's not an option.
it's not an option, yeah. Unless we would have to think very carefully, bring it to that current board and say, okay, this is what we're proposing. Yeah, but like I said, I'm like, if we're not using the thing and there is no alcohol allowed in the library, otherwise it
Mhm.
doesn't sit very fair in my
Yeah.
perspective, so.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's fine.
all right, any other questions, concerns about this one? All right, moving on to P26.
So we did look at a similar policy on non-discrimination and anti-harassment earlier this calendar year. This policy got the same treatment. It's a pretty heavy rewrite. We did add some procedure details for reporting and investigating. We did make the examples a bit more concise. I think that was about it. Are there questions on this policy?
Just, I'm reading of harassment, is it? I don't, like.
Harassment and bullying are separate legally, and
Okay.
so we
that-
have a harassment policy.
Okay.
We
and
also
that's-
have a bullying
Got it.
policy.
So we just, got it, okay.
Yeah, so if you.
And why did the?
So, no, I'm sorry, we currently have two policies. One is 26 anti-bullying, the other is 27 non-discrimination and anti-harassment.
Oh.
That one we looked at earlier this year. This is a very similar policy.
Okay.
So that's all I'm at. It got the same treatment as that other update.
Okay. No question.
I see why that's confusing, but.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion of P26? Okay, all right, moving on to E1.
This is the use of library materials and facilities. We do go through this policy periodically, but we did do a pretty careful read through of it since we had other updates to make. We updated the holiday closures. We're now open on the parade day. We added that we're closed for staff training. What do we do here? We did reorganize in general the section on library cards, hoping to make it a bit more clear to the reader and also for staff that are applying the library card rules at the front desk. We added the ability for folks that are non-residents to make 2 payments for their cards instead of a single payment, in response to the law change. Thank you. What else? Couple changes to material circulation.
I guess, sorry.
Question.
I thought we were not, so I didn't know getting overly fine in my books so late.
We have stopped charging fines with the last in 2022.
Mhm.
We automatically renew. So what happens is when we made that change, part of the concern was like, how are we gonna get the stuff back? And it was that after the 3rd renewal, we
Okay.
charge you for the item.
Oh.
And in general, that hasn't been a
Okay.
huge issue. The items come back and it's, everything's copacetic, so.
And by charge, you just get a bill, like.
You get a bill for the
You
item,
have to
yeah.
then come pay before.
You
your
either bring the
card.
item back or,
Yeah.
yeah. So what the previous rule did is that if you were billed for any overdue item, your card was blocked, which meant you couldn't check anything else out. But if you were returning a $5 board book, that doesn't seem quite fair when most blocks are at the $25 threshold for everything else. So we just wanted to make that consistent. So if you lost books and said, hey, I can't do this, you wouldn't be able to check out items if that were valued at over $25. That's our threshold elsewhere, so we wanted to be consistent with this practice as well.
Okay, any other questions, concerns? All right, I feel like we've gotten through all of the policy updates. All right, it's not a roll call vote, so we just need, all in favor of adopting the updated policy, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that motion carries. Moving on to action item G.
I move for the approval of report on secretary's records for January 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2025.
And a second,
That's Julie.
okay, and this is anything on this?
This is every 6 months we meet, we review the documentation. There were no interesting findings. Everything was as expected. Interesting was maybe not the best word. There was nothing unusual. Everything is as it should be.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor of approval of the secretary's records for January 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2025, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Action item H, you have a motion?
I move for the approval of destruction of closed session meeting audio recordings older than 18 months. 5 ILCS 120 /2.06.
A second,
Second, Ginger.
okay. This is very
This is standard practice.
Right,
Yeah.
right, procedural.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions on that? No? Okay, all in favor of approval of the destruction of closed session meetings, say aye.
Aye.
I should say audio recording, say aye. All, any opposed? Okay, motion carries 12. All right, we are now to discussion of minutes, but is that the closed session?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
okay, thank you.
Sorry, so this came up in the audit committee and
What's that?
the question was around, what are the standards for when board trustees are taking minutes during closed session?
Oh, we got it.
To make sure that there's accurate record of what was discussed in closed meetings. Particularly when we're approving the discussion, the disposal of and destruction of the recordings of these meetings. So, Kristen, you had brought up the question of like, well, what should we be doing for this? I asked Jen to, submit to you as the legal requirements, and they're not particularly specific. But we wanted to open this up for discussion and ideas in terms of what will be helpful going forward when we're documenting closed session minutes in particular.
Like with the written.
Yes,
like,
yes.
When the binder is there.
Right,
the closed
yes,
session.
And we're recording the time, start, who's in attendance.
Right.
You filled them out before and you filled them out before. I really
As
haven't, so.
secretary. Well,
Right.
so my thought, I brought this up because if we're destroying the audio recordings older than 18 months, which is fine, it occurred to me that the detail of the minutes, I think, has been different. And if it's very simple, like discuss blah, 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 there's really not a lot of. I've never been totally clear myself, like how detailed should the minutes be?
Mhm.
Should it just be topic, this is what we discussed?
Mhm.
Or should it be sort of broad bullet points? I don't think the concept is that it should be, notes in depth.
Right.
But should it be a little bit,
Bullet points. kind of thing.
yeah, and I think we've done sort of both.
Are you working from because I really have never looked at it. Are you working from a standardized form?
The
Or are you looking from just
template
open?
is very broad, I
Okay.
mean, it's really basic, you have to have, and I think this, that you gave, there's really no specific like requirement.
right.
But I guess we
Would
kind
we
of
do
discussed,
that?
it would be nice if there was sort of, because secretary
Mhm.
changes and who's on the committees changes.
Right.
It would be nice to have sort of a
Something more
uniformity,
standardized.
standardized,
Okay.
right?
So for example, like when we go into closed session, in the past, it's been about discussion of property, like selling property, right?
Mhm.
The whole building. So like we did write, like discuss the sale or price of
This lot versus, right.
yeah, whatever the property was labeled. And so what do you envision being more information? I'm not opposed,
Well,
I'm curious.
sometimes it would have been even very vague, like,
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
trying to give an example.
Discuss sale of lot, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and other
nothing
times
else.
it would be wherever point we were in the process,
Mhm. Negotiating.
met
Whatever.
Anne or Claudia met with Village, whatever, blah, blah. I mean, it was still broad
Like a
enough
timeline.
that it wasn't like, whoever met with whoever and they discussed like, and strategy. It wasn't to that level,
Mhm.
but it was a little more specific than, and I don't know that you can capture that in a template, but I don't know.
Well, it might be topic and topic and then
Maybe we'll-
details. I mean, if it would help us and the secretaries as it changes from person to person, to have something maybe like an outline.
Yeah.
That's
Well, we also
what
have to
comes to
be
my mind.
very careful if we're dealing with specific people.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, like indirect relations. I'm not sure what we can put there. We talked about and discussed the questions for the survey. Do we need more than that?
Right, you're not gonna
Probably
record
not, but an
individual.
example there would be, you could either say, discuss director review. Or discuss director review,
Question.
Point.
whatever
Point A,
question.
point B.
Right, yeah.
So you could get
So
very
like 2
detailed.
levels of depth as opposed to
Okay.
just the
It
topic.
sounds like
So
what
it
we
doesn't
really
have to
need
be
to
comprehensive.
Sounds like what we really
It's
need.
gotta
to
go.
Sorry. Sorry, Sue, go ahead.
Before we had audio recordings of the closed session minutes, that's when we got a little bit more detailed in the written minutes of the meetings. But as we went into recorded, we didn't feel we needed to get into the minute, keeping minute details of who brought up what suggestion regarding a proposal from the park district or our response after a meeting. Because we had the audio recording, we didn't have the audio recording to back up. But now that we have the audio recording, maybe some basic summary points may be nice to have. But just keep in mind that once those are open, everybody can see it. I'm done.
And my only thought, Sue, the reason this came up is because we're being pretty liberal about when the audio recordings are destroyed or whatever.
Right.
So we're, after 18 months, unless there's a reason to keep it. So, barring, and at this point, there's really not a lot that falls into this category, but, and maybe we don't need to set up anything. I just feel like maybe there's two levels as opposed to, and maybe this is just guidance, not, you must use this template, but. And certainly not to the level of, Kristen suggested we do this, and Sue suggested we do this, and that kind of thing. But just, instead of just discuss director review, sort of where you are in the process.
But an outline could handle that, and that way it would be, there'd be some consistency from one committee to another.
Right.
Yeah.
And, maybe it's
We could
just,
develop that.
although I don't know that it should just be verbal guidance, because people change.
Yeah.
Right, so some kind of outline that,
Okay,
every committee
just
could
a
use,
directive.
really general, so the basics are filled in, but to Sue's point, all of that is captured in the digital. So I have a question.
It's captured in the digital, but then it's gone.
Right,
Whereas-
and is
Yeah.
the written? Do we get rid of those also?
Yeah, how
after
long do
18 months?
those, is it 18 months
Isn't,
for
don't they go
the?
together?
All minutes are kept forever.
Forever,
We have
okay.
minutes forever, and our
That's why my
policy-
face was like, oh,
Yeah,
no.
our been that
It's just the digital, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the policy that has been in practice is that, well, I won't say policy because it's not like a written policy, but the practice has been that we do not destroy any recordings if that meeting has not been opened to the public. So we do still have some recordings that are older than 18 months because they pertain to meetings that have not.
Yes,
Mhm.
right, that's a good clarifying point, yeah. Right, we don't destroy minutes, we just open closed minutes to the,
Exactly,
Right,
it's
to the
just the
public.
recordings
Yeah.
that get deleted out.
Right, once
Yes.
that's,
Yeah.
whatever the
Yes.
details of
Yeah.
that meeting are no longer sort
And-
of
yeah,
front
and
and
that the
center, they're
committee
kind
has
of
been
obsolete,
agreed,
right? would be
Because at
gone.
that
Well-
point, it would have been reviewed by the committee when they agreed and
Yes.
approved the minutes, and then it would also have been approved or at least reviewed by the audit committee during one of the audits that it falls under.
right.
Okay, so
I don't know.
what were you suggesting, Ginger,
That
that
maybe the audit committee can work on
a
that.
template?
as-
Okay,
Yeah.
understand, guys?
Yes,
Okay.
we just, I think, wanted to know if you.
Yeah.
Which is volunteer
Guidance
Kelly
from
for
you.
that. So
Yeah.
remember that. Kelly wasn't here, so Kelly gets to do it. Okay. All right.
Teacher from business.
We'll let her know. Okay, thank you for that, Kristen. Moving on to the presentation for the summer reading recap. Finally, I said all of this. Have a good stuff.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm gonna.
Very good. So we're here to talk about summer reading, some insights into that, how we plan, how we go about planning the summer reading every year. Obviously, this is just the forward button. Forward is pretty simple. So how does summer reading fit our mission and vision? So we try to connect everything with like connect, discover, grow. With summer reading, we connect through our partnerships. For adults, that's usually offering prizes that encourage patrons to check out local businesses. It also means bringing them a sense of nostalgia, especially for those that may have stopped reading as an adult. For youth, that could be like connecting with schools in Lombard.
Yeah, schools and sponsors, other local businesses and stuff for prizes for the kids for reading and things like that.
We discover through our programs we offer, especially with our youth programs. And then grow, summer reading encourages a love of reading and inspires people to become lifelong readers. And we also grow through our volunteer program.
So these are all really great big goals, but how do we get there? And that's through lots of planning. So you go to the next slide too. We actually start our summer reading planning in January. So initial planning starts then, and we do a whole bunch of stuff between then and when the program ends in August. Some of you might have seen like our, Stephanie and I were both in the outreach video with our synchronized swimming. That was hilarious. So we showed that with like, that was on the social media and showed to schools and things like that. So it's big details like the actual program and then smaller details to get it out into the community. So then if you want to go to the next slide. So school outreach, schools are a big partner for us in the summer reading program for youth. And our outreach is a big way to promote our reading program. So last year we saw 509 students through our summer reading outreach efforts. This year we saw 1,130.
Wow.
So it was a big increase, and our school, our elementary services librarian Deidre did a great job kind of bringing those in. The 4 big schools we saw were Madison Elementary, Parkview, Westmore Elementary, and Glen Westlake Middle School. We saw an increase of 9% in total participation from the schools who participated in our outreach visits, which is great.
Are those people that you reached out to, or just people?
Some we
responded to
reached
you?
out to, and some reached out to us, and a lot of them wanted us to visit like their whole schools too, which is why that number was so big. Like they wanted
Okay.
5 visits, so.
Are there other schools that
There
you
are.
work partnered with in the past?
We have, yeah, there are other schools, and we did some with our like preschools too, but
Okay.
because of the elementary being such a big part of the summer reading program, we focus a lot of efforts on them in May.
Okay, so you can't do like all the elementaries would be like not even possible.
Take a lot of steps, but it'd be interesting to see what that could look like.
That might be like an all hands on deck.
Yes, yeah, summer reading is pretty hands-on.
But I mean, like every
Yes.
department,
Yeah.
but a stretch goal nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the schools that don't sign up for you to visit, do you just give them materials?
We give them materials, we have bookmarks that we give them, that's where our like outreach video comes in, we might be like, hey, here, watch this with your students to get an idea of what our summer reading program is. Like I said, bookmarks, flyers, so even if they're not coming into us, we're still getting that information out.
Awesome.
So. And then community partnerships. This year we had over 20 local businesses and community organizations sponsor our readers throughout the program. So Paradise Bay was a big one this year. The Park District gave every reader who finished 20 hours of reading a free pass to the pool to enjoy the summer. And then Dairy Queen, Brewster's Ice Cream, Creamery, and Rainbow Cone all were options for readers who finished 12 hours of reading to get a nice ice cream treat. And then we had a lot of other great sponsors who had other coupons for local attractions and experiences and food, and over 4,000 were given out throughout the program for readers.
So for the adult program, we try to work with, again, local businesses. We try to tailor some of the prizes to what kind of the concept of the summer reading was. So like, for example, this year we did a Lego set for the Great Wave to go along with the COD program. Over 50% of the raffle tickets that were submitted were in support of local businesses. So the Rosemary and Jeans, Babcock's, Gnarly Knots, Shannon's, and Rainbow Cone. And this is where Courtney Welsh, who's the programming librarian for adult services, comes in. She's involved in the planning from the beginning, and then she works with all these businesses and make sure we can get those gift cards.
And then so programming's another way that we get people in. So kind of people who are coming in to sign up for summer reading can then see all the exciting things we have to offer, or those coming in to participate in our programs can see that we have a summer reading program and can sign up. Because of schools being out, we do focused a lot on those all ages and grades K through 12 programming. And we increased the number of those programs during the summer by 28%. So you can see that includes like our end of summer reading party where we had Kona Ice and our Jason Colomer Juggler, our summer reading registration party, things like our presenters, like our science one, Ariel came to fit with our water theme. We had the DuPage Animal Shelter Services come and brought kittens for our kids to learn how to be good pet owners. So we do a lot of partners with our organizations and different fun things to bring to our community. So. And then one of our biggest programs that we offer in the summer is our volunteer program that's run by Caitlin Atkinson, our teen librarian. So the program is open to incoming 9th through 12th graders who have a Helen Plum Library card. And part of this program is to kind of work on job skill training. So there is an application process that they have to fill out. And this year we included essays in it to be part of the program, the application, so that they could kind of talk about why they wanted to be a volunteer. 25, so we had 43 teens complete the applications. 25 were accepted into the program, and they completed 426 hours of volunteer work for us during the summer. They're a huge help to us giving out those prizes and celebrating the kids who are reading. At the end of the summer, we did Caitlin did a survey and 89% said they would volunteer again. We got feedback such as the tasks are fun, they like helping the local community, and they thought the whole experience was positive, which is great for us to hear.
All right, so we've got some statistics here. The adult reading program has really expanded a lot in the past couple of years. We had 55% increase since 2023. So we went from 392 to 611 in just those 2 years. So we're always looking for ways to increase adults coming in, whether it's just having youth downstairs remind the adults, hey, you can go up and register yourself, things like that.
You're reading to your kids.
You're reading to your kids. You can count that towards your minutes, to your hours. And then we have for youth.
So some of our highlights, like you said, those elementary age kids, we looked at the census data for Lombard, and Lombard kids ages 5 to 9, 37% of the population registered for our summer reading program, which we can't think of any other kind of non-school related activity that could have a participation number quite like that. 34% of our readers continue to read for bonus reading, kind of speaking to that, instilling that love of reading. They wanted to continue doing it. 1,145 prize books were given out to kids. And then 887 Paradise Bay water park passes were awarded, and 42% were redeemed, kind of speaking to that a community engagement interest that the Lombard community has. So. And then we're busy. So this is our facility kind of mapping, heat maps, a sensor of how busy we can be. And you can see that it definitely peaks in June and July. The average number of youth visits per day in June and July was 679. The average for, I think, January through May was 531. So we do see quite a big increase in people just visiting us, whether it's for the reading program or other programs.
So we have like takeaways, what's next for the program. So we just compiled some patron feedback. As Kate mentioned, we did that synchronized swimming reel that got a lot of people talking on Instagram. We've had DMs from people. We had a lot of people coming in and saying how much they love the reading programs. See here. So I like the I just noticed a bit about adult summer reading program too. I like the juggling show. That was so live in the best town. So that's really nice to hear. So takeaways, what's next? So we're always looking, like I said, to expand adults summer reading. We've discussed some things, maybe like adding a new adult reading group, giving adults a prize for just signing up. They seem to really love the nostalgic feel of getting that. We did tote bags one year. I forgot why we had them, but we had some tote bags and people were like lined up out the door for these tote bags for adult summer reading. We're also looking to expand outreach to the community, sort of like youth does, to get maybe some more donations for things, so prizes throughout the program, maybe to offer to get them. We're just trying to increase as much as we can. We know there's an interest in reading programs for adults. We've already been getting calls about the winter reading program this year to see if we're gonna have it again. So we just wanna keep that going and keep people coming in, especially the adults.
Is that the plan?
We're doing winter reading bingo, yes, so, yeah.
Will that go in the newsletter again?
It will, I think, yeah.
So
I think that's.
So it's like the whole bingo card is in the newsletter to make it really easy for
Yeah.
folks to participate.
Yeah, it's an online only program, but we've also seen an increase in that every year, so people, and we try to do things fun, read a book while you're drinking a hot beverage, you know, it's just for people to get reading, it's not too complicated.
And then, for youth, one of the, some of the feedback we heard, readers are interested in more bonus reading, so how can we, add that to our program? And I think, I'd like to survey, more of the people that are participating to kind of understand, like, we know that they're, participating in this, but is it what they want, or what could it be? What are they looking for? And so just kind of getting some more information on that, so that we can keep, expanding and getting new ideas.
Yeah.
And you do have like a school during the school.
We do have a school year reading program, yeah, that's running right now, through April 30th,
Okay.
so, yeah.
That's all we have.
Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're welcome. Yeah.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Yeah.
Impressive numbers.
Yes, very exciting.
Okay, moving on to communication.
I did not receive any.
We had another blood drive, so we had another acknowledgement from the village. The next one is on October 8th. Thank you, Jen, for the post-it note on the letter.
Thank you guys, have a great day.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
And I did want to bring up, just because I had said I would mention it, I'm jumping to executive director's
Yeah,
report, sorry. Just again reiterating that, there is a law in the books now on providing opioid antagonists in libraries. It currently does not apply to our library because it's based on the Local Library Act and not the Library District Act. I suspect that this was an oversight and will probably be corrected, but just the same, we are prepared. We do train staff on Narcan administration. We do have some Narcan in the building should there be something that happens. But I just wanted you guys to be aware that A, we're aware of it, and yes, we'll update policies and practices, should this law actually directly impact us, so.
Okay. Anybody else have anything on, the director's report? All right, library activity report, anything there?
I noticed on page 5, under collection management, the renewals change. It said patron manual renewal settings are updated. Previously, patrons could manually renew borrowed items the maximum number of times immediately after checkout to extend the loan period. Is that changed to not allow that because so holds can step in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
makes
it was
sense.
just one of those things we didn't notice was happening until we
Right.
did.
Yeah,
But yeah, if someone's checking something out, they don't get it for 9 weeks off the bat.
Right.
But,
yeah.
they gotta wait to make sure nobody else wants it. It's a shared resource.
Okay.
So, yeah, the internet library loan, that was sort of an anomaly, this one guy or person.
Yeah.
Was it? Okay, that,
And we probably
Requested.
should set a cap.
Yeah.
There is a cap for, ILLs through WorldCat, or OCLC, but I just,
yeah.
we hadn't
that was
wanted to
kind
set
of-
a cap on it until we needed to.
Until
So
that.
we were kind of just waiting to see, and we're like, okay, maybe hundreds is too many.
Just be a policy or just?
This is just a lending, like, the limit we have on the, IL holds through OCLC is something that it's just a rule in the library, so this would just be a rule change.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we get charged, was there a per item charge for the 5 month?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's also, when you're requesting that many items, it's not as simple as placing a hold, it's an involved process. So it's a lot of staff time, and that's the bigger concern.
Are we overall seeing an increase in that program, or was just this kind of one influx of?
I'm not sure that yes, this one person was asking for a lot of things. I'm not sure that how that relates to the overall stats.
Okay. It's not a big deal.
So what limitation did you decide to?
I don't think we have decided
Okay.
yet. We just wanna let folks know, like, we're gonna have to limit this.
Yeah.
Right.
You had your fun.
Might be
time, right?
I know, I use
Yeah.
it, it's for library.
Yeah.
Teachers,
So this would be like a,
Maybe twice a year, not.
a little bit more than that, but you know, it's not, it's
Well,
more than
not
twice
quite,
a
no,
month.
sometimes
It's
it's
not
like
bad.
a recent.
Yeah, no, I like that, yeah. Okay.
I had a question about the 411. I know we have had this discussion about signing up, that she's offering so many great programs. And I know that there was just a sign up this weekend. And, I personally was gonna try to sign up for one, and by the time I got there, like, it was full.
was it which one, was it the sweatshirt one?
I don't even remember.
I think that one closed in like a blank. The fact is, they're really popular programs.
Yes.
And she will try to offer them a second time as much as possible, but what we try to recommend to folks is if you can't get into the thing you wanted, sign up for an appointment,
Right.
right? Like just, because there's ways to go about, like, they'll give the one-on-one trainings for how to do any of the activities, but.
Yeah, and I will, like, that's
Yeah.
another option. I was curious, like, have they ever, and I don't know if our system can even handle this, but like, is it ever been possible, like, to have, like, everybody's almost in a queue up until a certain, like, for the first hour, and then it's your random lottery assigned if we get it, like,
That's
because.
Not a feature of our current
Okay.
booking system.
So I was thinking, like, there's probably some people who maybe haven't
It's just not like
been able to
the
do
system will allow it,
programs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can we put a limit on that? Because we do want other patrons, like if. I have to be honest, if it's like a 9 o'clock, when
Yeah.
it opens, it puts me at a disadvantage. If you're working full time, it's hard to say, I'm gonna be on my computer at 9 o'clock.
It is
So.
the
It is
same
kind of bad,
practice,
but-
it's Saturday mornings at 9, and it's the same practice for all of the programs.
Okay.
I think these are just really popular and folks are excited about using the space. But to your point, we do evaluate these things and say, okay, is this actually working for folks?
If it's 9 o'clock on Saturday, my apologies, that.
And it could be
It would be equitable
yeah.
for most people unless you happen to have, so you have shift workers.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is if it's always the same people that are getting in,
I think it is.
okay, as long as it's being
That's- yeah,
shared.
Yeah.
Cause
Right,
That is-
everybody should have an opportunity.
yes,
An opportunity coordinating, yeah.
thank you.
All right, anything else on library activity report? I've lost my cover sheet, but I know we're close to going into closed session.
Yes, there I got
So
it.
thank you so much. All right, so given where we are, library, okay, so yes, we are at the closed session, so we need a motion for this, Ann? We do, right? Okay, thank you.
Yes. I thought we were doing the part of the presentation, not yet.
Would you like to? I mean, it's up to you, it can be
We've got-
completely.
So we've got this direction, review from the staff here, and then we've got the self-review that
Okay.
we can do in closed session.
Okay, so, since it's Ginger's presentation, so we don't need to go into closed session yet, because we didn't write it that way.
Oh,
And,
I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. So is that okay, Ann, that we,
What, I'm sorry, what is,
so,
what is happening?
okay. So before we go into closed session, we have the surveys from the Director Relations Committee.
So
Has that gone to the board?
No, not to the board yet.
it's an overview.
That has to be in closed session, right? If it's related to her reviews.
Right, that's what I think, Ginger, I think we do have to, right, go into closed session, we can do all of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the presentation that you need to give, do you need the, like,
We've got a board in the other room.
okay, so it'll work there,
Yeah.
okay, so then we will go into closed session,
Okay.
sorry, yeah.
That's okay, I'm glad
Glitch.
you cleared that up.
Yeah,
We do need a
yeah, we
motion.
do.
We will need a
So-
motion in a second and it's a roll call.
Okay, perfect, can I have a motion for closed session to discuss the appointment? Employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in a park, recreational, or educational setting. Or specific volunteers of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee, a specific individual who serves as an independent contractor, in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or volunteer of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. However, a meeting to consider an increase in compensation to a specific employee of a public body that is subject to the Local Government Wage Increase Transparency Act may not be closed and shall be open to the public and posted and held in accordance with this act.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we need a second?
A second.
Okay, and this is a roll call vote.
Okay, Sue Wiggins,
Yes.
Julie Kowalski Smith,
Yes.
Ginger Kearney,
Yes.
Kristen Asman-Sedwalch,
Yes.
Deidre Patel,
Yes.
Allison Pinkett Floyd,
Yes.
and Kelly Sims is absent.
Okay, so we are in closed session. We'll take 10 minutes. So if you need to move from this room to the staff conference room.
Yes.
All right, so we are adjourned and closed session in 10 minutes. All right.